Hi friends, how are you today? Welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Lisbeth and I am not a makeup artist, but I like to, although I am working to get my makeup artist certification, I'm not very far yet, but I'm kind of excited to see like how my makeup routine and stuff changes as I get farther along. So it should be exciting. And I'm also super excited to get my makeup artist certification because this is something that I wanted to do for a while. And so yeah, I'm excited. Anyways, so normally what I do is I do my makeup and I tell a story. And it's been a while since I've gotten back into the swing of things, but I am trying to get back into the swing of things. But before I start, I wanted to show you this because I think it's really cool. So I have dry lips. Like my lips are generally pretty dry unless I keep stuff on them all the time. And I've been hearing about lip masks for a little while. So I found one and it's made by, there we go, Handmade Heroes. And this isn't sponsored, guys, but I just wanted to show you. And it's got kind of like a Vaseline-y feel to it, but it really, and sometimes I fall asleep if I put this on, honestly, but when I use it regularly, my lips feel so good. I kind of love it. Anyway, so on with the story. I'm back with stories. Yay! Anyways, so my story today, this might be a little bit of a hard story, and I'm going to give you a warning up front. I will be talking about Andrea Yates today, and this story involves psychotic breaks, killing of children, warnings of suicide attempts, mentions of suicide attempts. I think that's it. It is not a happy story, and it honestly, it makes my little mama heart hurt. But hold on just a sec. Sorry, I almost forgot my mirror. Anyway, this story makes my little mama heart hurt because it's not a happy story. There's not a happy ending. But I saw a video that a friend posted on Facebook about this, and I couldn't get it out of my head. So I decided to sit down and tell the story. So, Andrea Yates. Some of you might have heard of her. This story was back in 2001. And Andrea Yates was, hold on, let me give you a little background about her. So Andrea Yates was born on July 2nd, 1964. She was the youngest of 5 children. And her parents were Jetta Corinne Kohler and Andrew Emmett Kennedy. She graduated from Milby High School in 1982, and she was a class valedictorian, captain of the swim team, and officer in the National Honor Society. She completed a 2-year pre-nursing program at the University of Houston and graduated from the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston. And she worked as a registered nurse from 1986 until 1994. In the summer of 1989, she met Andrew, hold on. I'm sorry, I don't know where I got Andrew from. She met Russell or Rusty Yates. And at the Sunscape Apartments in Houston, and they soon moved in together and got married on April 17th of 1993. And so, hold on, I read something about Russell. He was a disciple of preacher Michael Peter Woroniecki. Woroniecki? I don't know how to say that. And through sermons, testimonies, and video calls, they condemned the Yates for their hypocritical Christian lifestyle, saying that their children were doomed to hell for their sins, for the parents' sins. Anyway, that's kind of getting ahead of this story, but I feel like that kind of puts a little perspective on maybe Andrea's mindset a little later on. Anyway, so she married Russell Yates, and they soon announced that they would seek to have as many babies as nature would allow. Which, okay, I guess this is a little bit of my own commentary, but this is my personal belief. If you disagree, that's totally fine. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. This is just my personal belief that that's not the best mindset to have. I mean, I'm all for having kids. I am. But I'm also all for making sure you can take care of your children, both mentally and, physically, and all that good stuff. I think you should have as many kids as you feel you can handle. You shouldn't let nature or whatever else decide how many kids you have. Anyway, stepping off that, so that's just my personal opinion. If you don't agree, again, that's totally fine. That is my opinion. Anyway, stepping down off that soapbox. So, they bought a 4-bedroom house in Texas. And in their first child, Noah, was born in 1994. Just before Rusty accepted a job offer in Seminole, Florida? And sorry if I butchered that. And so they moved to Florida and relocated into a small trailer. And by the time of the birth of their third child, Paul, they had moved back to Houston. And following the birth of her fourth child, Luke, Andrea became depressed. And before this, Andrea had been known as Supermom. She had the nickname of Supermom because she was just a really great mom. But anyway, after the birth of her fourth child, Luke, she became depressed. And hold on, let me tell you what her children's names were. Noah was the oldest. Then there was John Samuel, or it was Noah Jacob, John Samuel, Paul Abraham, Luke David, and Mary Deborah was the last child. So, like I said, after Luke, she became depressed. And on June 16th, 1999, Rusty found her shaking and chewing her fingers. The next day, she attempted to commit suicide by overdosing on pills. She was admitted to the hospital, and she and prescribed antidepressants. Soon after her release, she, hold on. Soon after her release, hold on, I will be right back. I'm gonna finish my eyes off camera because apparently I can't do them and talk at the same time. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna show you what palette I used for my eyes real quick. I've used this before, and I think I've shown this before, but honestly, this is probably one of my favorite palettes right now. I just love it. It's pigmented. I feel like it's really pigmented, and it's got great colors, and look at the cute little packaging. Anyway, so she tried to commit suicide by overdosing by pills, and the next day she was admitted to the hospital and prescribed antidepressants. Soon after her release, she begged Rusty to let her die. And as she held a knife up to her neck. Once again, this is number 2, by the way. She was admitted to the hospital. She was hospitalized and given a cocktail of medications, including Haldol, an antipsychotic drug. And after she was given this in the hospital, her condition improved immediately. And so she was prescribed it on her release. And so, and after that, Rusty moved the family into a small house. What am I looking for? There we go. Into a small house for the sake of her health. And she appeared to be, wow, I look weird. Anyway, she appeared to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Temporarily stabilized. There we go. But in July of 1999, she suffered a nervous breakdown, which culminated in 2 psychiatric hospital stays and 2 attempted suicides. And that summer, she was diagnosed with postpartum psychosis. And after Yates's first psychiatrist, Dr. Eileen Starbranch, recommended that, or she strongly urged her and Rusty to not have any more children after her 4th child. Because, I mean, come on, Andrea was not doing so well. And she said that if they did have more children, it would guarantee future psychotic depression. Well, did they listen to this? Oh, no. Why would they? 7 weeks after her discharge from the hospital again, they conceived their 5th child. She gave birth. She stopped taking Haldol in March of 2000 and gave birth to her daughter, Mary, on November 30th, 2000. And she seemed to be doing pretty well after this until the death of her father on March 12th, 2001. And Yates then stopped taking her medication, mutilated herself, and started like religiously read the Bible feverishly. And she stopped feeding Mary. She became incapacitated. She became so incapacitated that she required immediate hospitalization. And she, in April of 2001, she came under the care of Dr. Muhammad Saeed, and she was treated on release and released. On May 3rd of 2001, she degenerated back into a near catatonic state and filled the bathtub in the middle of the day. She would later confess to police that she had planned to drown the children that day, but had decided against doing it. She was hospitalized the next day, and after a scheduled doctor's visit, and her psychiatrist determined that she was probably suicidal and had filled the bathtub to kill herself. So this what's timeline of events so far is not looking good, right? Like, it's not looking good. This woman is clearly struggling, and crazy. Sorry. That's my personal opinion. I feel like she was crazy. And she's been hospitalized, 4 or 5 times at this point? So my thing is, why are the kids still with her? I don't know. I feel like that was, again, this is my opinion. I feel like that was badly done, leaving the kids with her when she was like this. I mean, and you can't tell me they didn't know that she was having some problems, because she'd been hospitalized. Her husband. Anyway, I'll continue more with that later. Now comes the really sad part. She continued under Dr. Saeed's care until June 20th of 2001. And Rusty left for work, leaving her alone to watch the children against Dr. Saeed's instructions to supervise her around the clock. And apparently he had arranged for his mother to come an hour after he left for work. And Rusty was a NASA employee. And, I get it, that's an important job. But the psychiatrist specifically said she should have around-the-clock care. And I mean, yeah, maybe it was only an hour. And I was actually talking to the hubby about this. And I was like, why would he leave her alone with it? Why would he leave her alone this time? And he was like, well, maybe he was thinking it was just an hour. She wouldn't have time to do a whole lot. Which, I mean, okay, I can see that line of thought. You mean he was just leaving her alone for an hour? But again, Dr. Saeed had said around-the-clock care. That means she's not left alone, like, at all. But I might be a little passionate about this, if you couldn't tell. But so he left for work, and his mother was scheduled to come an hour after he had left for work. Well, unfortunately, that hour she was left alone gave her plenty of time to drown her children. Yeah, she started with the 3 middle boys, and then all right, I'm gonna explain what she did, and this is a little hard, so I apologize if I get a little choked up, but this is not a fun thing to hear. She started with John, Paul, and Luke, and then laid them in her bed, and then she drowned Mary, who she left floating in the bed. Noah, the oldest, came in and asked what was wrong with Mary. He then ran, but she soon caught him and drowned him, and left him floating in the tub, and laid Mary in John's arms in the bed. She then called the police repeatedly, saying she needed an officer, but she would not say what she needed the officer for. And then she called Rusty and told him he needed to come home right away. Sorry, I feel like I'm not this. Maybe I'm just doing a better job on this. I don't know. Hold on just a sec. I'll be right back. Sorry, I was trying to fix that. I think I did a pretty good job. But anyway, at the time of their deaths, Noah was 7, John Samuel was 5, Paul was 3, Luke was 2, and Mary was 6 months old. And Yates confessed to drowning her children. And prior to her second trial, she told Dr. Michael Weiner that she waited for Rusty to leave that morning before she filled the bathtub because she knew that he would stop her from harming the children. After the murders, the police found the family dog locked up, which apparently was unusual. The dog, Rusty told them that the dog was usually allowed to run free. So they believe that she had locked up the dog because she thought that the dog would prevent her from murdering her children as well. And Rusty got a family friend, George Parnham, to act as her attorney. And although the defense's expert testimony agreed that Yates was psychotic, Texas law required that in order to successfully assert the insanity defense, the defendant must show that they could discern right from wrong at the time of uh, at the time of the crime. There we go. And in March 2002, a jury rejected the insanity defense because, hold on. All right, so I can't do makeup and tell this story at the same time. So I'm gonna go finish my eyes and lips, and then I'll be right back to finish up. All right, so I did my brows, finished up with my eyes, under my eyes, did my mascara, added a little bit of a highlighter. Okay, so you guys have heard me talk about Anastasia Beverly Hills before, and how much I love my lip palette from them, but the liquid lipsticks, not so much, because I feel like the colors that I've gotten have never really worked with me, and I don't love the formula, but I found this, and you guys know how much I love my red lips, but I found this beautiful red, and so far I'm really liking how it looks on the lips. We'll see how it lasts. But anyway, so back to Andrea Yates. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. So in March 2002, a jury rejected the insanity defense and found her guilty. And although the prosecution had sought the death penalty, the jury refused that option, and the trial courts sentenced her to life imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice with eligibility for parole in 40 years. On January 6, 2005, a Texas Court of Appeals reversed the conviction because California psychiatrist and prosecution witness Dr. Yates admitted that he had given false testimony during the trial. Yeah, there we go. He had stated that shortly before the murders, an episode of Law and Order had featured a woman drowning. A woman who drowned her children and was acquitted of murder by reason of insanity. But Dr. author and later Yale University lecturer Suzanne O'Malley, who was covering the trial for the Oprah magazine, the New York Times magazine, and BBC and NBC News. Just kidding. Apparently she had previously been a writer for Law and Order, and she immediately said that there was no such episode. And so because of this, on January 9th, 2006, Yates again entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. And on February 1st, 2006, she was granted release on bail on the condition that she be admitted to a mental health treatment facility. On July 26, 2006, after 3 days of deliberations, Yates was found not guilty by reason of insanity, as defined by the state of Texas. She was then committed to the North Texas State Hospital Vernon campus. In January 2007, she was moved to the Caryville State Hospital, which is a low-security mental facility in Kerrville, Texas. And Although the psychiatrists for both Texas's state prosecutions and her defense lawyers agreed that she was severely mentally ill with severe psychosis, and at the time she had killed her children, the state of Texas asserted that she was by legal definition aware enough to judge her actions as right or wrong despite her mental defect. I mean, she did call the police after all. The prosecution further implied of spousal revenge for the motive for killings, even though there was no motive to support this theory. They believe she was legally aware of her actions, but did not agree on the spousal revenge angle. Sorry, just noticed something. Hold on. This one stopped. Okay. Anyway, that's a little better. Okay, so let's talk about Rusty Yates for a minute. Dr. Saeed had advised, like I said earlier, he had advised Rusty to not leave her unattended with the children. But, and he, again, and Rusty is a former engineer. However, despite Dr. Saeed advising this, he began to leave her alone with the children in weeks leading up to the killings. For short periods of times, apparently to improve her independence. He had announced in a family meeting or family gathering the weekend before the drownings that he had decided to leave her home alone for an hour each morning and each evening, so that she would not become totally dependent on him and his mother for her maternal responsibilities. Hold on. So, the Yates's brother, Brian Kennedy, told Larry King that Rusty expressed to him in 2001 while transporting her to a Devereaux treatment facility that all depressed people needed was a swift kick in the pants to get them motivated. Her mother, Jetta Kennedy, expressed shock when she heard of Rusty's plan, saying that Yates was not stable enough to care for the children. She noted that Yates demonstrated she was not in her right mind when she almost choked Mary by trying to feed her solid food. And sorry, that mindset just infuriates me. But Yates's first psychiatrist, Dr. Eileen Starbrandt, says she was shocked to disbelief when So her first psychiatrist was shocked to disbelief when, during an office visit, the couple expressed their desire to have her stop taking their intent to have her stop taking medication so she could get pregnant again, when she had specifically strongly urged them against getting pregnant again because more psychotic breaks were pretty much guaranteed to happen if she got pregnant again. Or it would guarantee future psychotic depression, even though they wanted to have as many babies as nature would allow. Really? When your wife is having psychotic depression? I think that's nature telling you not to have any more babies. That's just me, though. Rusty stated to the media that he was never informed by psychiatrists that his wife was psychotic, nor that she could harm the children. And had he known otherwise, he would never have had more children. However, Andrea revealed to her prison psychiatrist, Dr. Melissa Ferguson, that prior to their last child, she had told Rusty that she did not want to have sex because Dr. Starbranch had said she might hurt her children. And Rusty, she said, simply asserted his procreative religious beliefs, complimented her as a good mother, and persuaded her that she could handle more children. And O'Malley highlighted Rusty's continuing sense of unreality regarding having more children. During the trial, he'd successfully maintained the position that Yates would be found innocent. He had fantasies of having more children with her after she was successfully treated in a mental health facility and released on a proper medication. He worked his way through various fixes for their damaged lives, such as a surrogate motherhood and adoption, horrifying her family attorneys and Houston psychiatrists before giving in to reality. So, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Andrea drowned her children because she believed that they're so, well, and I mean, this is what she said. I'm sure there were a few different factors of why she drowned her children. But she believed that she was saving their souls. And I believe that goes back to the preacher that I mentioned earlier, who had said that her children's souls. But she believed that if she did not drown them, their souls would go. You guys, this could 100% have been prevented. She should not have been left alone with those kids. And I'm not laying the blame on her. I'm really not. I mean, is she to blame for actions? 100% yes. But there were so many things that could have been done to prevent this. Her husband could have not left her alone like he was told not to. There were just so many things it could have done. These 5 kids didn't need to lose their lives. It is tragic that it had to get so bad that these kids lost their lives. It really, really is. It breaks my heart. It was so badly done. Such a bad situation. So I was looking earlier because I think part of this started probably with postpartum depression. And back then, postpartum depression and stuff like that, postpartum psychosis weren't talked about a lot. It wasn't something that was talked about. I feel like even today, it is talked about more, but maybe not as much as it needs to be. And so I looked at some statistics, and approximately 70 to 80% of women will have at least the baby blues when they have at a minimum, the baby blues. And many of these women will experience more severe symptoms of postpartum. The reported rate of clinical postpartum depression among new mothers is between 10 and 20%. And one recent study found that 1 in 7 women may experience postpartum in the year after giving birth. And these are just the statistics for women who have live births. Women who are miscarried or have stillbirths may also suffer postpartum. Mamas, if you start to feel different about your babies, or if you start to feel depressed or anything, please, please, please get help. Get a good, what is the word I'm looking for? Support system around you. If someone is not being the support you need, don't rely on them, but get a good, reliable support system around you. Like, I feel like Rusty was not a good support system for this woman. He wasn't. He was just he had his own agenda going on, and he was going to go by that. And okay, and again, this is my personal opinion, because he makes me furious, because it shouldn't have happened. He was not a good support system for her. And I'm not saying it's all his fault either. Because it wasn't. It was just a really, really bad situation that got way, 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 way out of hand. But mamas, if you feel like you have postpartum nerve depression, call your doctor. Get help. Get a good support system. Because those babies, they're a gift. And I mean, you might say that I haven't had a kid, I don't understand. Technically, you're wrong. I have had a kid. I wasn't very far along, but I am a mom. And I know what it's like to feel alone and sad and like the world is crushing you. I know what that feels like. And you know, when I have those live babies, I also might suffer from postpartum depression. I get that, and I might need to look back at this video one day and be like, wow, I need help. I need to kick myself in the butt and get that help. But you are not alone. It doesn't matter who is around you. You are not alone. There are more people who understand than you think. I promise. If you need that help, and there's no and okay, I'm not good at asking for help. I will be the first to admit it. I'm not. But in things like this, there is no shame in asking for help. And I'm kind of going on my own soapbox here. This not really about her, but about postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis. If you need help, get it, please. Love those babies. Take care of those babies. Don't let this be your story. Because it is something that you will regret for the rest of your life. Get that help. All right, I'm stepping off that soapbox now. Okay, well, just get that help, please. If you need it. There are lots of resources out there. You're not alone. Anyways, so I think that's me done for the day. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I know it was not the happiest video. It's a really tragic story. But yeah, it's a tragic story. It absolutely sucks. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed the look. I'm really liking this look so far. Love the eyes, it's a little bit more of a, what is the word I'm looking for? It's definitely a toned down look to some I've done, but I'm liking it. I'll take it. I hope that you, anyway, I've already said that. Please remember to treat people with kindness and respect. Everyone has a story and we don't know what it is. So make sure to treat people with kindness, respect, love, all that good stuff makes the world a much better place, and the world could use more happiness and love and everything, especially now. So let's make the world a better place, and I will see you next time. Bye. Oh, hold on. By the way, I always post what I use on my face down below, as well as sources. And please hit that like and subscribe. Let's try that again. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And I will see you next time. Bye.